Coming up on ATV News, March is Women's History Month. We'll take a look at how the Smithsonian is celebrating women in STEM on the National Mall this month, including some AU professors.
Also, this week marks the first of a new mask optional policy here on campus. We'll hear from students about their thoughts on American University dropping its mask mandate.
Good afternoon and welcome to ATV News. I'm Adriana Doria.
And I'm Jane Caroline Fusco. Thank you for joining us. To commemorate Women's History Month, the Smithsonian Institution has recognized women who are leaders in science, technology, engineering, and math, commonly called STEM. The exhibit celebrates 3 AU professors. I spoke with one of them.
It's hard to miss these life-size neon orange statues, each of which represents a successful woman in STEM. The exhibit, which includes 120 statues, is part of the Smithsonian celebration of Women's History Month. Chemistry professor Rachel Burks is one of the 3 faculty members at American University represented in the exhibit called If Then She Can.
There are so many statues across the world of women. Our achievements and accomplishments and challenges often don't get the same amount of attention.
According to the Smithsonian, the women were selected not only for their achievements, but also for their commitment to inspire the next generation of women in STEM. First-year student Mariah Aldridge believes the display will have a powerful impact on future scientists.
Young girls feel discouraged because they're not seeing people that look like them in the fields that they want to pursue.
Thanks to the exhibit, Aldridge and other aspiring scientists have 120 new sources of inspiration.
The statues will be on public display until this Sunday, March 27th. In campus news, AU is now mask optional for the remainder of the spring semester. Alex Murphy hears from students on how they feel about this change.
American University administration sent out an update on their mask policy courtesy of CDC guidelines and local Washington, D.C. ordinances. Beginning on Monday, March 21st, masks will be optional in most campus locations, including classrooms, labs, office spaces, residence halls, dining facilities, event spaces, libraries, and fitness centers. ATV asked students on campus for their thoughts on the recent change to university health and safety protocol.
I understand people are tired of wearing masks, but I think that there were no negatives of keeping the mask mandate in place until the end of the semester. It's not so much about how little I like wearing the mask or, how much I hate masks. It's more about protecting my fellow students, especially like the immunocompromised community.
I think for right now it's really good for it to be removed because I think life needs to start going back to normal.
Masks will remain required in campus medical facilities, including the Student Health Center, Counseling Center, and COVID-19 testing sites, on the American University shuttle buses, and inside any American University vehicles used for public transportation. Additionally, the university announced that events in Bender Arena and performing arts spaces that are mask optional will return to full capacity attendance. I'm Alex Murphy with ATV News.
With graduation fast approaching, AU seniors are working to secure post-grad internships and jobs. School of Communication professor Scott Talon explains the power of LinkedIn in today's job search.
More and more jobs are not being posted online, and employers are still getting overwhelmed by the number of people applying, even though now it's tough to find some employees for some positions. So that means employers are using their own networks, asking their employees, hey, who's good for this? Who do you know? Going through alumni networks, going on LinkedIn. And this is why being on LinkedIn is absolutely vital.
AU Career Center advisors are available to help with cover letters, resumes, interview preps, and starting a LinkedIn profile. Students can schedule a 30 or 60-minute appointment with their advisors on Handshake. Prepared to graduate, AU is getting ready to welcome its class of 2026. Admissions decisions went out on Wednesday, March 16th in the Future Eagle portal. The admissions office, Andrea Felder, explains this year's competition and application process.
This year we had close to 21,000 applications for admission. We anticipate enrolling a class of 1,700, which is a smaller enrollment target than we've had in years past.
Committed students are taking to Instagram and Facebook to introduce themselves, make new friends, and search for potential roommates.
Coming up on ATV News, protesters have taken to DC streets in opposition to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. We'll report on AU's tips for students impacted by the invasion. And cherry blossom alert. Peak bloom is here. Liv Wood talks to a student group involved in this year's National Cherry Blossom Festival. ATV News returns after the break.
I want you to get the vaccine because I want you to be safe.
I don't want you to be a patient I take care of in the hospital. That's what I'm scared of.
Can I hug you?
Yeah. Love you. Love you too.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to ATV News. Yesterday marked 1 month since Russia began its invasion of Ukraine. DC and its landmarks have become a popular destination for protesters who oppose the invasion and wish the U.S. would do more. Alexandra Valerio reports how the AU Counseling Center is helping affected students.
The American University Counseling Center Assistant Director for Outreach and Consultation, Dr. Jackie Darby, provided insight on the Ukrainian and Russian conflict and the steps the American University Counseling Center is taking to provide support services to students at American University.
So we wanted there to be a support system for the students, recognizing that individuals not just from Russia or from Ukraine or surrounding countries are impacted by this crisis, but a lot of other students as well. So we're partnering with the ISSS, the International Student and Scholar Services Department, on providing workshops and trainings, as also support spaces for students.
Dr. Darby provided some mental health strategies for American University students surrounding the Ukraine and Russia conflict.
So the first thing to do is to know yourself and monitor how much you can take. There's a difference between being informed and being overwhelmed. So the moment you are moving from being informed by the conflict to feeling overwhelmed by the conflict, that's when you go ahead and turn the TV off, to put down the Twitter feed, maybe you're stepping away from the internet for a second, just to kind of take care of yourself and engage in some self-care.
I'm Alexandra Valerio with ATV News.
Over 2,000 students on AU's campus represent more than 130 countries. But some of those international students feel left out of the classroom conversations. Kate Darcy reports on U.S.-centered political discussions make it difficult for some international students to participate.
There are over 2,000 international students from 119 countries enrolled at American University, yet most experience moments of exclusion during in-class discussions and lectures. American University course curriculum has often utilized American political systems, government structures, social norms, and current events to spark conversations within the classroom. However, international students are at a disadvantage during these discussions, since they were educated in their own country's civics and history rather than the United States. Students who are taught in the U.S. are more familiar with these topics and can potentially make participation for international students more difficult.
I think a lot of people don't understand that international students might not know the whole story about American politics and American government. So kind of being excluded from that conversation can be a little hard sometimes. But it's also a great opportunity to learn more about these things.
Programs exist on campus to aid international students through their transition, but even they have their limitations. American University offers international student and scholar services, but their events have become less active as the semester has progressed. American University prides itself in its international community, yet many international students still feel excluded from course curriculums and disconnected from campus. My name is Kate Darcy with ATV News.
Every spring, thousands of tourists flock from all over the country to see the cherry blossom bloom that colors the streets of D.C. And now reporter Liv Wood joins us live in the studio with more details. So, Liv, why is this year's blossom so popular for AU students?
Well, because of remote learning last year, students missed the blossoms. So this year they tell me that they're excited to participate in the festivities.
The cherry blossoms that grow in Washington, D.C. are a staple of the capital, and tourists from all over the United States visit for the National Cherry Blossom Festival. This year is no different. The annual festival is being held over 4 weeks from March 20th to April 17th. This year marks the 110th anniversary of the gift of trees from the mayor of Tokyo to Washington, D.C. in hopes to grow their friendship. The opening ceremony occurs on March 20th and will feature one of American University's a cappella groups, Pitches Be Trippin'.
We're really excited to perform in front of such a large crowd of people that aren't from AU. Performing is definitely my favorite part.
The festival is collaborating with many businesses in Washington, D.C. Students who are aware of this ceremony are excited to attend and see the blossoms bloom, whether it be for the first time or not.
I think it was really fun just seeing everyone and all the cherry blossoms. My aunt, she's from Japan, so she always likes to come up for them, so it's just really a fun community event.
If students are interested in going to support local businesses who are involved, they can go to the National Cherry Blossom Festival website to learn more.
So, Liv, how much longer do we have to see the blossoms in D.C.?
If you can make it to the tidal basin, then you should definitely go right around now. Today is the last day for peak bloom, but the petals will remain for the next few days.
Thank you, Liv.
In other DC news, on March 24th, Metro announced its plan to gradually welcome its 7000 series rail cars back on the tracks. According to the Washington Post, the proposal would not provide immediate additional frequencies. Instead, Metro would gradually add the cars over the next several months. The plan now waits for Washington Metro Rail Safety Commission approval. And on campus, ignoring fire alarms can be dangerous, but the frequency of false alarms in the dorms might desensitize some students. Fabianna, Rincon has the details.
The class of 2025 is no stranger to fire alarms. With over 20 fire alarms in the approximately 2 months since their return to campus, students are losing more and more trust in the alarm system that is in place to protect them. The majority of freshmen are consolidated in Letts, Anderson, and Centennial halls, which house about 1,800 students. All students are required to leave their halls during these fire alarms, and emails to the freshman class regularly remind them of the consequences they can face for not leaving. However, this has not stopped the visible differences of hundreds of freshmen from staying in their dorms and ignoring the recent increase in alarms.
I completely understand why people don't want to leave, but I just encourage that you do. I know how hard it is, but it's like you never know.
The DC Fire Department is required to check each fire alarm that occurs on AU's campus, whether it be a pull or triggered alarm. The DCFD responded to a call on Saturday, February 27th, concerning a smoking water machine motor in Cassell Hall and evacuated all students from the West Campus Hall until the situation was secured.
It's strange, so we're definitely more likely to get going.
Whether by fraternity pledge pulls, burnt microwave popcorn, or malfunctioning sprinklers, the fire alarms in Letts, Anderson, and Centennial halls have been frequent stressors for the class of 2025, and they don't seem to be stopping anytime soon. I'm Fabianna Rincon with ATV News.
Now on to sports. The AU's women's basketball team advanced to the NCAA tournament in Michigan this season. We hear from a player about the emotional journey to Ann Arbor.
And now to Michigan. Basically traveling there and getting to spend time with my team, like that whole experience going there was awesome. No matter what the outcome was. Obviously, we didn't get the dub or we didn't finish the way we wanted to, but hey, Michigan's a great team.
The Eagles lost 39-74. It was the third time the program advanced to the NCAA tournament. Other campus news, AU's cost of attendance will increase next year. Undergraduates can expect their tuition to go up by 5%.
I think it's really unfair to have such a high increase considering the financial situation that the COVID-19 pandemic has incurred on a lot of people. I don't think it's really in line with what is going on in the world right now.
Provost Peter Starr told the Eagle that AU will add $5 million to its financial aid pool. Starr said the average financial aid package for students will be increased by 9%.
On Wednesday, students and AU employees rallied on the quad and outside the School of International Service, while Provost Starr gave a presentation inside. Protesters demanded better pay for adjunct faculty and more funding for the Graduate Student Union.
It's not enough to live on over a long period of time, and the students don't get paid enough. We got less than $2 of a raise over the last year.
In between chants, protesters passed out flyers with information about their cause. To learn more about the Adjunct Union, including another event in April, visit the group's Instagram @AU Adjunct Union. And coming up on ATV News, a capstone class at AU comes together to support Afghan refugees. We'll hear from students in the group who are making a difference.
Also, we'll take a look at what the university is offering for students who want to remain in the DMV area over the summer break. That story and more after the break. This is the one they have multiple.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? Now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Right here, baby. Look.
Something more than a birthday is happening here. Once you can see it, you can help. The sooner you recognize the signs of autism, the sooner you can make a lifetime of difference for your child. Start by answering a few simple questions at screenforautism.org.
Welcome back to ATV News. After the U.S. pulled out of Afghanistan in August, the Taliban took over the country in a matter of days. Fearful of change, many Afghan families fled their home country in search of safety. I spoke with a group of students who are using a class project to make an impact. American University Public Relations seniors graduating this spring are using their capstone as a way to make a difference in their communities by supporting Afghan refugees. Senior Brianna McCoy says the group's goal was to bring attention to an issue that, despite its lack of public attention, is still going on.
Our main goal was to raise awareness and help people learn more about the crisis. Even though it happened last summer, it's still going on.
For their capstone, the group partnered with 2 clients, Glenn Luther, a photojournalist who taught journalism students in Afghanistan, and a nonprofit called Operation Sacred Promise.
It's been really inspiring to see their dedication and to see how much love they've poured into this effort together.
To help in their fundraising efforts, the students tabled on the University Quad on March 16th, where they raised $250 in just one day. McCoy leaves American University students with some encouraging words.
We often forget about the bigger picture and that there are people who are really suffering in the world, and given the opportunities that AU gives us, we're really able to make an impact.
To learn more about the Capstone Group's partner, Operation Sacred Promise, you can visit their website at opsacredpromise.org. With summer break quickly approaching, many students are applying for summer internships. Gabby Arnold reports on students' experiences with applications and how they landed their summer positions.
Internships are the opportunity for college students everywhere to put themselves out there and make connections in their prospective fields. Internships are often seen as essential to the college experience at AAU, but can be difficult to get. However, students are willing to share advice from resumes to networking right here on campus.
I would say to be patient, because the right internship will come at the right time, and sometimes the internship you least expect to get will be the one that you end up working with.
For some AU students, the search for internships is continuing into March. The Career Center at American University can help students during every step of the process. Their advice is, it is definitely not too late to apply for and secure a summer 2022 internship, and now is the time to actively focus on your search. Make sure your resume has been reviewed and it is communicating the skills and competencies you possess as they relate to the internships you are seeking. Utilize Handshake and other relevant job posting sites to search for internships. Attend the Job and Internships Fair on March 30th in person and April 6th virtually. Talk to your career advisor about other sources of internships that are specific to your interest area. I'm Gabby Arnold with ATV News.
As AU students receive summer internship offers, summer housing becomes another consideration. AU offers on-campus housing to its students, but there is a new requirement this year. Reporter Grace Harman reports on what's available and how students can find housing for the summer.
As the end of the spring semester at American University draws near, many students are trying to solidify their summer plans. For non-DC residents with internships in the area or those who want to take in-person summer classes, securing housing for the warmer months can be a stressful process. But the American University's Office of Housing and Residence Life has resources available to help. Undergraduate students enrolled in summer courses or completing internships for course credit can apply for on-campus summer housing. Suite-style housing in Centennial Hall and the nearby Tenleytown Frequency Apartments are open to house students from May 8th to August 13th.
I believe I signed up using the StarRes portal, so like the AU housing portal.
Students looking to sublet apartments or find short-term rentals can utilize the Housing and Residence Life's off-campus posting site. The website partners with apartments.com and listings can be filtered for the summer season. Undergraduate students can begin applying for summer 2022 campus housing at noon on Monday, April 4th, and are encouraged to apply at least 10 business days before their desired move-in date. I'm Grace Harman with ATV News.
In other AU housing news, today is the last day of the AU Moves program. Hosted by Housing and Residence Life, AU Moves offers 2 weeks of exercise on the quad.
And we were wondering how we could engage with the AU community, like in a way that isn't just virtual, because we had done so many virtual events.
Students who attended 3 or more events had the chance to win prizes that included Fitbits, Hydro Flasks, and an Amazon Fire Stick. Well, that's all for ATV News today. I'm Adriana Doria.
And I'm Jane Caroline Fusco. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.